All right, let's dive into one of the most fundamental skills for any Salesforce developer out there: how to get your Lightning Web Components talking to your Salesforce data using Apex. Let's get right to it. Look, at the end of the day, pretty much every component you build is all about one thing: data. You're either showing it, creating it, or changing it. It is literally the lifeblood of your entire application. But there's a catch. So, your component is sitting out there in the user's browser, right? But all your important, precious data, that's locked down safe and sound on the Salesforce server. So the big question is, how do you bridge that gap? How do you ask for information without opening up a security hole? Well, that's exactly what we're going to answer today. And the answer, my friends, is Apex. You have to think of Apex as our secure server-side bridge. It's the trusted middleman that stands between your component on the front end and the database on the back end. Let's just follow the data for a second. It all starts with your component in the browser making a request. Now, here's the crucial part. That request does not go straight to the database. No way. Instead, it calls a trusted Apex method on the server. Apex acts like a gatekeeper. It securely runs the query, grabs the results, and then passes them back to your component. It's a clean, secure, three-step dance. So how do we let Salesforce know that a particular Apex method is okay to be called from the front end? We use this special little thing called the @Aura-enabled annotation. Honestly, you can think of it like a permission slip. By adding this one line of code right above your method, you're basically giving your component the green light to call it. It is the key that unlocks the whole connection. Now, Salesforce gives us two main ways to call these methods. First up is @Wire. The best way to think about @Wire is as the set it and forget it approach. It's reactive, which is super cool. It doesn't just grab the data once, it actually refreshes your component automatically if that data ever changes on the server. And then we have method number 2, the imperative call. Now this is the complete opposite. This is the manual approach. With an imperative call, you are in total control. The data is only fetched when you say so. Like, for instance, when a user clicks a button or types something into a search bar. So let's dig into that automatic way first. We're going to take a closer look at the @Wire service and see just how simple and really powerful it is for just displaying data. Using @Wire it's beautifully simple. You can see it right here. Inside your component's JavaScript, you import the Apex method, you use the @Wire decorator, and you tell it which property to dump the data into. And that's it, seriously. The LWC framework handles the rest, making the call and feeding the results right into your component, all ready to go. So when is @Wire your best friend? Well, think read-only. If you're just showing data and you want it to magically update when the source changes, @Wire is absolutely the way to go. Its clean, declarative style means you write less code, and who doesn't love that? But, that automatic nature, it isn't always what you want. What if you need to pass in parameters that change based on what the user is doing? What if you only want something to happen when a user clicks something? For that kind of control, @Wire isn't going to cut it. We need something more direct. And that brings us to our second approach, the manual imperative call. This is your go-to solution whenever you need precise control, especially for events driven by the user. The real power of imperative calls starts right here in Apex. See, unlike a simple @Wire method, we can design our methods to accept parameters. We can send a value from our component, say a search term the user typed in, and our Apex method can use that to filter the results and send back a much more specific, dynamic set of data. So, back in our component, everything gets kicked off by an event, like a button click. That function makes the call to Apex. From there, one of two things can happen. If it works, we hit the .then block, we get our data, and we can show it to the user. If it fails, we hit the .catch block and handle the error. The key thing here is that you're in the driver's seat for this entire flow. Okay, so we've got our two main tools in the toolkit: @Wire and imperative calls. Now for the most important part. How do you know which one to pick for the job? Let's put them side by side. This table really breaks it down. For execution, @Wire is automatic, while imperative is manual, on demand. For parameters, @Wire is really for static values, whereas imperative is built for dynamic user input. Use case, @Wire is perfect for displaying read-only data. But the second you need to change data, create, update, delete, or run logic on demand, you gotta go imperative. And finally, caching. Atwire has fantastic built-in caching for performance. With imperative, you're on your own. Knowing the difference is one thing, but writing code like a pro, that's another level. So let's cover a few critical tips that will really elevate your code. First, and honestly most important tip, always handle your errors. That .catch block you see here, it is not optional. It's your safety net. It's what prevents your component from just breaking and leaving the user confused. Instead, you can catch the problem and show them a nice clean notification. And this is why it's so important. Good error handling is the difference between a frustrating, broken experience and a clear, user-friendly one. A simple message like this tells the user exactly what's going on and shows that you've built a robust component. So, let's just nail this down. Here are the big takeaways. Number 1, always use cacheable equals true on your read-only Apex methods. It's a massive performance win. 2, lean on @wire for simple, reactive data displays. 3, switch to imperative as soon as you need control, parameters, or you're changing data. And finally, never, ever forget to handle your errors. Okay, so you now have the tools to securely and efficiently get any data you need from Salesforce into your components. But getting the data is really only half the battle. The next big question is, what's the best way to actually display it? We'll tackle that in our next explainer. I'll see you then.